Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Foley with Paladin Financial, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Paladin Financial Talk. This month, we're talking about happy retirement. So we're very excited to continue that discussion, and today we're going to dig into building and creating your own retirement manifesto. And two of my favorite people, Mr. Matt Bryant, welcome, and Mr. Tony Shore. So
great to be
show.
here, Jeff.
Yes.
I am excited about this one because Matt's here today.
That's right. Thank you.
Matt, it's great to have you on the show. I've been asking Jeff, when are you going to get Matt up here?
First time. Looking forward to it.
Oh, it is.
It is.
All right.
Yeah, we're all in the studio together. Matt, great to have you here. And again, thanks for having me on your show, Jeff. I appreciate it. I've had a good week. Matt, how about you? What have you been up to?
Fantastic week. Saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles last night with the family.
Oh, you did?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
They have a new movie?
A new one.
There's a new one out, and
That's
it
right.
was good?
It was good. Yeah.
How old are your kids?
10-year-old boy.
10-year-old, perfect.
Sweet spot.
I remember taking my son when he was around that age, between 7 and 11, to see some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies.
Reminded me of being a kid, 1990 when the first one came out.
Yep, that's awesome.
Nikki said you were. It was a big influence on you, the Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of turtles growing up.
Yep, that's good. That explains a lot about Matt.
We'll talk about that later.
We're going to talk about Retirement Manifesto. I've got no gear shift between Ninja Turtles and that.
I guess there's no way to
really jump right in there.
Really, I wonder how they were funded. Financially, if they had to have a financial plan to set up and do their job. I mean, they ate a lot of pizza. And they fought against evil. But how did they fund all that?
They didn't talk about planning.
I wonder if they went to a financial advisor like Jeff. All right. Well, Jeff, we're talking about manifestos, which I'm sure that ties in somehow.
Yes, definitely. Retirement, it's like no other time where you have the opportunity to define yourself or redefine yourself and what you want life to look like. As we'll talk about, a lot of things will change for many people in retirement in that period of time. So it's a good opportunity to relook, or a version 2.0 at that point.
Yeah, and let's talk about it for a second. For all other stages of life, someone else typically has an opinion or instruction on what you're doing, where you're going, who you're with, what life looks like. You have, as a kid, your parents, teachers, they're all telling you what to do, helping shape who you are, your first job, your boss, your coworkers. But come retirement, it's really your time to define exactly what you want life and everything to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very easy. Everybody's different, but I know in working with a lot of retirees, some people look at retirement as kind of a finish line where I made it, and they fall on the couch and start falling apart. That's not what we want to have as an ideal retirement, I think, for a lot of people. So, but if you're not careful and you're not proactive, you're not intentional about what you want your retirement to be, it's easy for that to occur. And we're not going to cite studies here, but we've all heard evidence of people that don't retire to something, that they do have cognitive decline,
Yep.
Physical issues. So not looking at it as a finish line, but as another chapter, and creating a list of what you want to achieve in retirement and putting some thought into that.
Retirement will be a wonderful adventure, and we'll do it together.
I had to throw that in there, guys.
And
Yeah.
that's where comes the idea of the Retirement Manifesto. A manifesto is simply a declaration of intent. Some might be excited about the idea of a wide open day, declaring what they're doing, where they're going. But for others, that's scary. They've had structure their whole life, whether it was school, their job. Here's when you need to show up. Here's what you need to do. Now time is theirs. And for some people, like you said, falling on the couch and maybe developing not so good habits is one way to go, but it is an opportunity for you to come up with things you want to do, check some of those things off the list that you've always wanted to do, and really make the last decades of your life yours.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're working years, a lot of our identity is tied to what you're doing every day and who you're working with and the value you provide to others around you and the work that you are doing. When you retire, you have the chance of losing that identity. So you got to think about how do you want to recreate that identity in retirement, and not have a mental go backwards mentally in that. So that's something to be thinking about, and the time to think about that is before you retire, so you're not facing as big of a gear shift with that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can't wait to get to retirement in a lot of ways, but they don't spend the time thinking what retirement actually looks like. They think, okay, I'm not working anymore. That's their goal when they're daydreaming about it, but what do you actually want to do day to day? What impact do you want to leave with others? And what things do you want to check off that list to make sure you're making the most of what you have left?
Yeah, the concept, I think we referenced this a couple shows ago. There's a Stephen Covey quote where he talks about having your ladder against the wrong wall and you're just getting to the wrong place faster. So making sure you have your ladder against the right wall, and that right wall is what do you want to do and be and achieve and enjoy, and how do you want to impact others around you, the community. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and the gentleman, him and his wife, when they retired, they started a nonprofit that helped put fences around yards that had dogs stuck on chains, and they like dogs, and so they now have 200 volunteers.
Wow, that's really cool.
Who would have thought of that? So they go around and they have fundraising, and people can sponsor fences, and that was something that wasn't on their list, their bucket list beforehand, but they were intentional about things. So there's so many opportunities, but looking at where do you want that ladder to be, and it's really easy. We were just, Nikki and I had a meeting yesterday with our business coach, and we were talking about prioritizing and deadlines and so forth, and if you're not intentional about anything in life, it's not likely to happen. So what do you want to have accomplished, and putting a timeline around that is really important.
Right. It's too easy to fall into a routine of maybe laziness or complacency is probably a better word for it. Mm-hmm. And if you're not intentional, those years fly by, and all of a sudden, it's too late, and that's not what you've worked your whole life to achieve.
Yeah.
So making sure that you are intentional about it's a good idea. And it kind of leads, or one way to jumpstart that thought is, what would you want your bumper sticker to say? Or how would you want your obituary to be read or read? So that is a good way to start brainstorming if you are a little bit lost on what you want retirement to look like.
Or you could be the person with 50 bumper stickers on the back of your car.
Why
limit it to just one?
I've gotten behind some of those cars. Are they hoping to get rear-ended as people try to read them all,
I did read a study once that the more bumper stickers you have, the higher likelihood of road rage.
Oh,
I don't know.
More.
It was a scientific study. I
Sure. I would agree with that. But you say, or what you want your obituary or bumper sticker to say. It makes me think of what I want on my tombstone or gravestone. What I want written, and I told my wife and kids, I just want it to say, "I told you I was sick."
Jeez. Yeah, the bucket list. We talked about the bumper sticker. Your bucket list. I think this came up a couple episodes ago as well. Is creating 25 goals that you want to accomplish at any point in your life, and it sounds daunting at first, but once you get into it a couple minutes, you can crank out 25 pretty quickly. The hard part is narrowing that down, is just take the top 5 and those that you want to focus on first. But a lot of value in that, and regardless of where you're at in your retirement journey, of what do you want to accomplish and achieve and experience. So.
And how many times do you say it to yourself? I know I say it, that I don't have enough time right now. There's things I want to do, but I don't have enough time. That's one way to start your list, because you make it to the goal of retiring with all this time now, and you do have the time. And if you're not, like you said earlier, intentional about it, or you don't have your list written down, I can see how it might be too easy for things just to slide by.
Yeah,
sure.
Time and money have a way of spending themselves. So
yeah,
you have
absolutely.
to be intentional with that. That's good. Yeah. So those are some things to think about. Is how do you want to rebrand yourself is another way of looking at this. In researching and thinking about today's show, we the title of today's show was Retirement Manifesto. And there's a gentleman that actually has a blog called Retirement Manifesto that you can Google, and he talks about a lot of this
Wow.
and digs into that in more detail. He actually has a list of 10 retirement commandments that you should check out that I think are good to consider. And we're actually going to continue this topic next week. We have a webinar that we do every quarter for our clients, and the topic of this month's webinar is From Buckets to Bucket List. And we talk a lot about buckets on this show, has a lot of great tie-overs in here, but you think of your assets in terms of buckets, short, medium, and long-term things, and how are you going to use those buckets in the most efficient and effective, tax-free, tax-effective manner to support your bucket list. So we're going to kind of expand on this topic a little bit further in the webinar next week. So if you're interested in that, if you're a client of ours, you should be seeing the emails for that invitation for the webinar. That is next Tuesday, the 15th at 12 o'clock. And if you're not on the list and would like to get registered for that, give us a call or send us an email. You can reach us at 651-842-8406 or send us an email at info@financialpaladin.com. And you can also visit us at financialpaladin.com. But yeah, anything else you guys want to add for today?
I'm just still excited that Matt is here.
I know.
I just wanted to...
So great to be here.
Matt!
Matt! Well, thank you for having me. The one thing I would take away from this is start brainstorming now. It's not, pre-game for your retirement. Make sure you're thinking about it so that when you get there, or if you're already there, you can make the most of it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would say for our listeners out there, we have fantastic listeners and viewers, and if you want to get your retirement manifesto together, they should pick up the phone, give you a call. You have to be working with a trusted financial professional. And I happen to know a guy, Jeff Foley, Matt Bryant, a couple of guys. Yeah. So I think they should give Paladin Financial a call, get a second opinion on where they're at, or if they don't have a plan in place, get one in place. Right?
Yep.
So give that number and web address one more time.
Yeah, give us a call at 651-842-8406 or email at info@financialpaladin.com, and website is financialpaladin.com.
All right. Well, that does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk.
Good. All right.
Sweet.
How was that, Tony?